So I'll just give a moment or two for others to join, and welcome to the no hands practice. I've got a couple of friends. Pandora has had her thumb operated on. Emily's had a break snowboarding, and a friend's, actually two of her kids broke their arms in totally different incidents, all in this last week, which made me think, we take for granted these things, but it also gives us an opportunity to look at how adaptive we are. And we can do a lot of practice on and off the mat, as I'm sure you guys that have been incapacitated would attest to. And it's actually really nice. Like, I did a lot of surfing over the weekend. I probably spent about 6 or 7 hours in the water. And so my arms could do with a little break as well. And that's not to say that we still don't use, we just don't bear weight with them. So you still use them and you still articulate a lot of the movement, and especially in and around the shoulders. So bear with me, we'll have a bit of fun. And today I thought we'd take most of the focus down into a really tight area of the body, the ITBAND, which runs along the sides of the legs, and it's that beautiful meshing of connective tissue that binds into the bone and notoriously tight. So ideally, if you've got a wall nearby, it doesn't have to be a big space. We're not going to be jumping up or anything like that. So you don't have to move the crockery away or the beautiful, ornaments. Just a little bit of a wall just to place a foot on, and perhaps a block. So without further ado, let's lay on our back, start in a supine butterfly. And the reason I've taken this shape is, again, just so that we don't have to place our hands down at all to come up. And we're just going to have a little moment to settle ourselves down, lengthen the tailbone, take the feet together, let the knees drop out, and really settle into your breath. You might like to close your eyes again if you're not going to go back to sleep. Otherwise, just really softly meshing the lashes. Allow yourself to drop in sight so that you're more or less witnessing yourself as you lay there, without needing to move the arms at all. We're going to take the right knee over to the left and just allow the shoulders to stay completely relaxed on the mat. We're starting to get a little twist into the lower back, but not a strong one. And then inhale, take the knee back open. Allow yourself to settle again as you exhale. And we're going to take the left knee over. What we're trying to do here is, rather than just twist it and leave the hips open, we're trying to keep the hips stacking and take the knee to the other knee. Let the shoulders stay relaxed. And let's open again. Now you'll notice the difference. We're going to do that one more time. So right knee over to the left, and I just want you first to just let the knee flop over without taking the hip. And then take the knee over, and you'll notice that it sort of draws a little bit further down into the thigh. And that's what we're after. So let's also pull a little bit more of a stretch up into the lower back. And we're going to open and take the knee over. And we're starting to also tone the core here. And back open. Bring the knees back together and into the chest. Just if there's any tension in that lower back that you're feeling, give it a little rock and roll. And then draw your right knee in Now, if you have got anything going on with your hands, you can also hook your forearms underneath, or even just one. Stretch out the left leg and bring yourself up. And we're going to hook left forearm around. Take your right hand, support the head if you wish, or just leave it open and just take a nice little twist. I'm going to change and twist, change, twist, change, twist. One more on the other side. And bring the knees in, head back down, head side to side. Then tuck the hands beneath the knees. We're going to rock and roll forward and back until we come up into Navasana, so boat pose. Rock and roll. And popping up into boat pose. And just keep the knees bent at this stage, first thing in the morning. And just draw the chest upright. And breathe. And we're going to go back and do the same thing. 3 rocks. Last one. Coming up and controlling. And for 3 breaths. And last one. And as we finish that last breath, I'm going to bring the feet together, let them come down, give the knees a little flutter. And settling back into our yogic breath if you can. Now we're going to do a rock and roll, attempt to come up into our standing pose now. Knees back together. And if you just want to bring yourself upright, if you are nursing an injury, just simply stand. And we come up into our long, tall Tadasana. Now allow yourself to really find this stance. Long in the body, long in the back of the body. Take a deep breath here. Exhale as you forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Left foot steps back and we stay in this lunge. So we're going to just keep fingertips on the ground, heart pulling forward. Firing up the legs by trying to pull the thighs towards each other on the mat. And again, this is doing up of your, or squaring up of your hips. Take one more breath. Step forward into the fold and empty the breath. Exhale, fold. Half lift in. Right. Stepping, we return to that lunge on the other side, firmly towards each other. And try not to let the hips drop too far. We're not sort of going in for that hip flexor yet. We're just sort of trying to wake up the legs. You're going to step forward and fold as you exhale. Rise to stand, inhale. Hands to heart. So that's one, and we're going to do that 2 more times, warming up the legs. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Left foot stepping back, heart pulling forward. Take a breath. Step back, foot forward and fold, empty. Half, come all the way up, inhale. And straight back into the fold. Exhale. Half lift. Right foot stepping back and lunge, squeeze thighs. Inhale. Exhale as you fold at the front, step it forward. Rise to stand. Hands to heart. Inhale, maybe add a little extension at the top now that we're getting warm up. Exhale, fold. Half lift, inhale. Left foot stepping back and lunge, inhale. Now this time as you exhale, let the back hip or the back thigh drop down a little. So now we are going into that hip flexor and allowing that to really get nice and warm. But I want you to dig the back foot into the mat, and it's almost like you're trying to pull the front heel and the back toes towards each other. So it's a different dynamic, yeah? And you can feel it's starting to really activate this hamstring and also the quads. Take a breath. And let's step forward and fold. Rise to stand. Straight back into the fold. Half lift, inhale. Right foot steps back. We start with that initial lunge. And then we drop it a little deeper. But remember, it's not passive. It's really, really active. Front heel and back toes strongly pulling towards each other like you're buckling the mat beneath you. And deep breath in. We're going to step forward as we exhale. Rise to stand. Hands to the heart. Just drop the hands down by the side, roll the shoulders, and notice what's feeling very warm and very alive, what's moving in the body beneath the surface. Now let's take ourselves into Utkatasana. Inhale, reach tall. Hands move to the heart. We're going to lengthen, 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 and draw the left elbow across the body and wrap it around. Take that revolving Utkatasana. And we're just going to find this breath. Find your core. Take a breath here. Press down into that right foot and lift the left toes off the ground. So you might just leave them down quite close, or you might squeeze them to the butt. It's a bit of a challenge first thing in the morning. And then we're going to step it back and remain in that revolved state. So finding the breath. Smooth, even breath. Remember that squeeze of the thighs to the center. It's actually really helpful here. One more breath. Release the revolve. Come into crescent lunge. So now I want that second action of drawing heel and toes towards each other on the mat. Take a breath. Empty. One more. Hands come to the floor and we fold. Half lift. Fold again. One more of those. And empty. Rise, stand, inhale. Hands to heart. I'm going to swap sides so I can look at you. Inhale. Utkatasana. Exhale. Inhale. Hands to the heart. Bring them to prayer. Deep breath in. Taking that revolving prayer. Make sure you anchor that elbow down. And we're challenging ourselves with that balance. So this time the right foot is going to squeeze up and back. And we step it back and remain in that twist. Try to square the hips by squeezing the thighs to the center. Remain with your breath. And release into crescent. Inhale. And again, we draw feet towards the center of the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hands to the mat. Exhale, step into a fold. Half lift. Fold. Two more. Inhale, half lift. Fold. Half lift, and really move into the legs a little in that half lift. Fold. Rise to stand. Hands to the heart. Just roll the shoulders, let the hands come down. So what we're doing here is we're really activating all of these muscles in and around and that attach into this IT band. So there's no point in going for big stretches if you haven't actually really given the muscles that little bit of warmth, that time to warm up. So let's flow through that. We won't pause for breath. We'll just go through that twice and we'll see how we feel. Inhale, reach. Hands to the heart, straight into the revolve. Inhale, left leg, heel rises, and we step it back. Take a breath. Exhale, sweep to crescent. Inhale, really large there. Inhale, find the leg, the activation. Hands to the mat, step into the fold. Half lift and fold. Rise straight into revolving prayer, right elbow across. Inhale, that leg lifts and we step it back. In my case, have a little wobble. Take a breath. Empty. Rise to stand. Exhale, pause. Inhale. Hands to the mat. We fold. Half lift, reset the breath. And fold. Rise, inhale. Into the fold, into the crescent. Sorry, the revolving Utkatasana. The left foot lifts. I was rushing to the crescent now. We're into that crescent now. Inhale. Exhale. Use the next inhale to rise up. Exhale, pause. Inhale. Hands to the mat, fold. Half lift. Fold. Rise, inhale. Straight into that revolving Utkatasana. Inhale. That right foot lifts. And we step it back. Inhale. I'm struggling on this side today for some reason. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hands to the mat. Fold as you empty. Half lift, reset the breath. And fold. Rise. Inhale. Hands melt to heart. And hands drop by the sides. And just feel all the vibes there. Letting it wash through. So beginning to really warm up the body. We're going to take it up a notch. And I thought first of all we might use the wall and do a couple of little drills that are really good at starting to stretch into this, because where we're going to head, you really need a lot of space. The spaciousness is key. Take a block or have one handy near your foot and bring yourself to the wall. What I'm going to get you to do is just put your foot against the wall and you're wanting to aim at hip height. So you don't want it higher, even if you have that ability. I want your heel to be directly off the hip. And I want you to just make sure, see here, my heel that is below is behind. I want you to just set it up so that you're nice and square, like a right angle. And then what I'm going to get you to do is just use your block as a marker. And that's going to go next to my ankle. So the front edge is next to my ankle. So what I've done, I've given myself a little marker here now. I can turn around and I can put my ankle at this edge where it was. And now I've got my mark to put my left foot back. I'm going to start with that right foot down. I'm going to try and recreate that 90-degree angle. So again, not going too high or too low, and you want that back leg to be straight. So coming into a nice, strong, long shape. So lift yourself up on the highest angle of the block and take a breath. And you might think, oh, this is pretty cool. This isn't so bad. My ITBAND isn't screaming. We're going to put our left hand down, right hand on the hip. We're going to begin to twist. And now all of a sudden, we can feel quite strongly that ITBAND, yeah? And just allow yourself to remain in the twist and just explore it. Lean back into it. Keep trying to lift that right hip up and just breathing. Take a smooth breath and release back down and bring that foot down. Bend the knees. Let's take that right foot back. Again, we're trying to look for that 90-degree and both legs straight if you can. Very tempting to get sort of soft and avoid this stretch here. Hand to hip and make sure you sort of fire up that back leg and then use the body to create the twist. And it's quite strong. I can feel it drawing up. My ITBAND having a big, deep stretch here. And that back leg is 5. Lean back into the stretch. And we're going to come back down. Bend the knees, just soften. We're going to go into that again. And this time, just loading a little bit more by not using the block as much. And you might like to open the arm up. But if you are finding that a bit intense, just bring it back. So right foot down, left foot, creating that 90-degree angle. And taking a lot less weight on the hand, reaching around. And coming back. Leave that foot there, open the foot up. Don't take it any higher. And simply open into a half moon. So this is the shape we're trying to sort of create, letting the hips have a break. And then we're going to, without touching, if you do need to, pivot on the heel on the wall and go into Vera 3. Hands come down to support yourself and take the foot down and just give it a bend. You're going to take the other foot up, so right foot, hand to the hip, taking that beautiful twist through the body. Allowing yourself to come down, pivot on the heel, open out, maybe not even touching the floor there. And then we're going to try and take that shape nice and long, Vera 3. Hands down. And leg down bend. And just hang out in a ragdoll. Stretching that lower back. So now we're in this fold. I want you to have a block handy again. Take your feet a good hip width apart. And just anchor yourself into the feet and press into the heels. Lift the hips a little further forward. They're starting to really stretch. And just use the block as a support very passively. Come up in to a half lift, flatten the spine and take the block over off the right hand side. Your feet are going to stay anchored. We're going to pull the hips over to the left. So you're getting a bit of a stretch in that lower lumbar area. And maybe down into the IT band a little. You're going to change sides. And you're sort of pulling your hips over to the right. But your feet are staying flat. Come back to the center. You might like to come up a little higher, bring the feet together. We're going to cross the right foot over in front. And then we're going to take the block back and lean the hip again back over to the left. And you can just swap the foot around so that it's behind, and we're going to go the other side. Moving deeper now into that IT band. Release. Keep the block nice and handy. Come into a half lift. And let's fold nice and deeply. Spending a little bit of time here, 5 breaths. And I want you to explore moving the weight around a little, trying to sustain a stretch in the legs rather than just going really passive and letting the butt sink. Keep pressing the butt up high. And moving, shifting the sensation around in and around all of that connective tissue up behind the knees. Let's just take one more breath. Bend the knees a little and come on up. Rolling shoulders open. Pretty juicy, that one. For anyone wishing or needing to head off to work, I'd like you to just simply come down into a nice, spacious Shavasana. So I'm going to take you to the floor now. And anyone that's got a little bit of time, just stay with me. We're going to continue and just take this up just a notch and then bring it back down. Okay? So reaching tall, take the feet hip width. Squatting down, nice and deep. And coming gently down and bring these in. Now you might like to go back to the very start where we're in that supine butterfly, taking a little twist through the body. You'll notice that the body's a lot more free than it was earlier. Before coming into your Shavasana, if that's where you're heading off now. Thank you so much for practicing. And if you're staying with me, we're going to come back up. You can rock and roll and come back up. Now I'm going to reach tall. Hands to the heart, coming back into the prayer. The left elbow cross to the right side. Take a breath. Squeeze left heel up. Step it back. Staying in that revolving crescent. Take a breath. Back into a crescent lunge. So sweep it around. We're all very familiar. Hands to the heart. And we're going to shoot into Vera 3. So all of that action that we were practicing on the wall here right now. Left hand comes down. You can either use a block underneath. Right hand to the sky. Bend that front leg. Step the back foot not too far back and bring the block towards the inside of the ankle. So we're here for a version of Parsvottanasana, and this is a great one to get into the legs, really big on the hamstring. So once you've got this one here, you've established the foot, I'm going to get you to take your block as far over to the right as you can and just bow down here. Come up into a half lift and move the right foot across the mat until it's in line with the back foot, and then fold again. So you'll notice the intensity increases somewhat. Don't worry about getting low. I want you to be more interested in the stretch that you're obtaining, and make sure the foot doesn't roll onto the outer edge. And then come back up into that half lift. Let the foot move back. Take the block out of the road and allow yourself just to fold. Bend the knees, stepping forward, half lift. And as you fold here, notice the feelings from one side to the other. Slowly come on up to stand. Now I'm going to roll the shoulders open. I'm changing sides just again so I can keep my visual on you. Reach tall. Hands to heart. We move into that revolving Utkatasana. So revolving prayer. This time right foot squeezes up. And we step it back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, coming back up, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now we're going to shoot forward, Vera. So allow yourself to find the stance. Take the arms. I'm going to grab the block. Right hand down, twisting and opening. Bend into that standing leg. Back foot lands, but not too far back. And we allow ourselves to just find the block and fold. And then we're going to take the block over to the left and fold. Half lift, move the foot, the front foot across so it's in line with that left foot. You might need to bring the block back a little. And we're just going to have a few breaths, allowing yourself to really fire up this front leg as much as you can. And half lift, move the foot back. Take the block out of the road and find your Parsvottanasana, shaking the head. And stepping to the front, fold. Half lift, move the feet a little wider, pistol grip the toes this time. And hang out in Padangusthasana. And we're going to release and slowly make our way to stand. Allow yourself to really feel all the feels there. And imagine yourself marinating in all of those juices that you've created. Warmth. The standing balance. I'm going to go back to the wall and use the wall because we're already sort of familiar with this shape. It's actually nice to continue just reiterating it so we get that muscle memory. Right foot down, left foot up, and we're again just looking for 90 degrees, nothing greater. Reaching tall. Right hand reaches forward, left hand reaches back. And let's try and get even taller here. Inhale. Exhale, grow the spine a little taller, take it a little bit more of a twist. Inhale, hands come on. Bend that knee and bring yourself back. And do the same on the other side. Right foot up, inhale, reach tall. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. And just breathing, finding ourselves lengthening as much as we can here. Enjoying that experience. Inhale, hands rise, bend that leg, and step it back. Rolling the shoulders. And the reason we use the wall as a support there, because we've spent a lot of time loosening of these muscles, and I don't want you to go straight into tightening them. And often we do that in our standing balances with all of that gripping. Reaching tall. Exhale, fold. Half lift. And for this one, we're going to step our left foot back on the mat. We're going to let the knee come down. We're going to heel toe that right foot over, over, over. And we're going to keep it going as far as it can go. I'm going to have to move off my mat a little because I haven't got a lot of space against the wall. And we're going to try and let that leg get straight. Now, if you can't put this arm down, what you can do is come down on a forearm or an elbow or a block. And we're just going to try and stretch through there. The leg is through. And you can square the body up as much as you like. I actually like to stay up here. And then bring the back knee down and bring the front leg across, setting up for our half pigeon. Coming down onto the elbows if that feels good for you. And one more breath. Rolling over and sweep that back leg around. Taking the right heel right into the pelvis there. We're going to fold Janu Sirsasana. And coming back, both feet out in front. We're going to balance this out with a fold. Paschimottanasana, reaching tall and folding. For this one, rather than just flopping down, I'm going to keep this a little active, pulling the toes back, maybe pedaling into the heel a little. So you can use that action of pulling the foot back but pressing, and you'll notice that. You can feel it a little more into the fascia more than the muscles. So it'll be around the connective areas, around the knees. And let's bring our feet in and coming back on up. Half lift and fold. Slowly come on up and roll the shoulders. You might notice a distinct difference on either side there. Reaching tall and fold. Half lift, and we're going to do that same thing. So this time, stepping right foot back, letting the knee come down, and moving the left foot across the body this time. So the action is either up, and I bring the foot up a little higher if that's the case. Kind of get it up in line with your shoulders. If you want to take it a little lighter, bring the back knee down, and you can also bring an elbow down. So taking yourself wherever you wish to be there. You can bring it all the way down too if you like. This is a more passive. You're still getting that ITBAND stretch. This is a nice one if you're taking it down into a yin feel. Well, let's bring that knee across. Setting up now for our half pigeon. And that ability to create space, even in the midst of frustration. And we come back up, we're going to sweep that leg around, setting up our first fold forward, seated, reaching, and fold into Janu's. Left heel is in. And coming back up, stretching both legs out this time. And we finish in that nice even fold forward. And again, using that pedaling motion, just slowly pulling the toes back and pressing into one heel. And then doing the same on the other side. And releasing, coming back. Turning the right foot down, taking it to the outside of the left leg. Sitting up nice and tall here. And just squeezing the spine. Flatten as close to the thigh as you can. And beginning to use the core, we're going to lift left arm up. Take the elbow across or grip the side of the leg and take a twist. And not to let the back sag down, really bring yourself as close to that thigh as you can. And we come back around, unravel. Do the same on the other side, left foot across. Bring yourself in, give yourself that moment to really imprint the spine as close to the thigh. Right hand rises and we twist. And coming back And bring yourself back down. Taking any ponytails out of the way. Allow yourself to settle on the mat. Letting the body really melt. Sending it away from the solid and into the liquid. Filling the space between all of the cells in the body. And when we allow ourselves to practice with this level of kindness and awareness about injuries that can occur in the body, and we actually place ourselves in a state of healing because we've taken all of the stress and we've removed that, allowed ourselves to move freely and feel abundant and spacious and feel capable. We actually heal so much quicker than if we were forcing, creating cortisol in the body that blocks all of that beautiful healing capabilities. So as you lay there very lightly, very softly, you might like to soften the face, allow even the into the smile to appear. And bask in that beautiful healing juice that you have created. Please stay in this state for as long